Hi, I'm Glenn,
Hi, I'm Cheryl.
and this is
Couple
Versus.
Cardboard.
And today we are previewing,
Marrying Mr. Darcy.
which is a card game for 2 to 6 players, currently on Kickstarter. We do now have board games up here, which is the obligatory game reviewer thing to do. We have board games up behind us
They're
now.
so pretty.
It's, ambience. Lord of the Rings is up there. Yeah. Black Riders is above it too. Black Riders. Oh, there's Black Riders. Oh, that game. Black Riders is killing me in the best ways right now. What's it about?
So it's about Pride and Prejudice,
Okay.
the novel,
Okay.
written by Jane Austen.
Okay.
And
And what are you doing in the game?
you play one of the female characters,
Okay.
and you are trying to improve your characteristics
Okay.
in order to win over one of the suitors' hearts and get a proposal.
Great. I'm man enough for that. What kinds of cards do you have?
Right, so you have basically 4 kinds of cards.
Okay. That sounds like a lot.
It's not a lot.
Okay.
Suitor cards, so basically the male characters from the story.
Okay.
There are female character cards, and there's 8 of those. You're a female trying to get a suitor to propose to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Number 3.
The third kind is character cards.
Okay.
So different types of character traits.
Okay.
Wit, beauty, charm is one? Not one.
Friendliness.
Charm's not one.
Charm, no.
No, cunning,
Cunning.
friendliness, reputation. No charm. And then the last kind is the event cards, which is the main mechanic of the game, determining what you're going to do in your turn.
Okay.
And they're related to events that happen in the story Pride and Prejudice.
Okay. It's important also just to remember that when we're looking at a Kickstarter, the final form may look slightly different from here. Right. They obviously could overhaul the whole thing, but I think generally this is actually a pretty final form that we're looking at right here.
There's 2 main phases of the game. The first one, you're developing your character so that you are a woman who is suitable for one of the male characters to propose to. Okay. So they each have a different requirements, each of the male suitors, and you're trying to gather all of the character traits that they would want so that they would propose to you. So basically...
So you're trying to get a guy to be interested in you.
Yeah.
So he'll marry you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you want to get the best guy for you to propose to you.
Because I may not be happy with just any dude.
Right. And each female character matches with a different person.
Okay. So do they only match with one person?
No, there's a scale.
So Lizzie Bennett is going to be happier with Mr. Darcy as opposed to
Mr. Collins.
Right. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. So on one given turn, what you're effectively doing is just turning over the card and doing whatever it says. And so it may tell you to draw a character card and then play a character card. Or it may tell you that you guys have just gone to a party, or you might be going gambling. But effectively what you're doing is basically just your whole turn is turning over a card, doing whatever it says. So there is a bit of randomness to it. There's actually quite a bit of randomness to it. But the idea is that you're kind of experiencing the whole of the Jane Austen story, sometimes a little bit out of order, but you're experiencing it kind of as it's happening.
So the second part of the game is the proposal stage.
Okay.
Where all of your hopes and desires are either fulfilled or demolished. Okay. The person who has the most cunning, which is one of the character cards, they get to go first. Okay. And so basically what happens is they figure out which suitors they meet the requirements for, and they say, okay, I'm going to, roll to see if they're going to propose, or they're going to pick one to hedge all of their bets on.
Kind of the lady's choice is what it's called, and it's like I only want this particular one. And so
it's this guy or nobody.
Yeah. And so it may be because it's the only one you have, or it may be because it's the best one for you. You may get the most points out of it. And so if you can get it, you really want to try to. At the end of the game, effectively what you're doing is you're counting your marriage points or your old maid points, and you're saying, okay, with these points plus any of my attributes except for cunning and dowry, you basically count up everything and see how much you walk away with. Right. So making a good choice as far as the suitor goes is going to put you in a good position. If you're Lizzie Bennet and you walk away with Mr. Darcy, that doesn't necessarily mean that you just win, because somebody else may have just been logging points the whole time, and so they can technically win if they're doing it as well. So you're really into Pride and Prejudice, right?
I mean, one may or may not say that. I mean, it depends on what you mean by really into.
Like, how many copies of Pride and Prejudice do you own? She's counting on her fingers right now. 5. 5 copies of Pride and Prejudice. How many times have you read it?
Like 15, maybe?
15? So as like a Pride and Prejudice fanatic, what would you say? Do you like this game?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
So I think it's really fun to play with the events, the characters that as a fan of the story you know and love, and to kind of tweak with their future. And I mean, you get like crazy combinations like Jane Bennet marrying Mr. Collins. Like, really? Come on now. That's like so tragic.
Mr. Collins.
I mean, knowing the events, I know like a little bit how they impacted the characters, and so it's fun to see how she made that a dynamic of the game.
So I've read half of the book.
See?
I've read half of the book, and I always seem to walk in on the movie when it's in the last second of the movie when Donald Sutherland starts crying at the end. I never catch it like a second before that. I always walk in right when I always walk in when Donald Sutherland starts crying, and I always get a little choked up because I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying, but Donald Sutherland's crying, so I feel like I need to. So I would say like I am not. I don't know what
Pride and Prejudice.
I don't know. I don't remember most of the first half, but I don't know what happens in the middle. Like in the beginning, Darcy is like a total dirtbag, and in the end, like every woman is like, "Oh my God, I want to marry Darcy." And so I don't know what he does. Like I don't know if he like starts working out or if he like starts eating paleo or what. But by the end, like everyone loves Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
And so I would say, like, as someone who has no idea what's going on, I think it's fun. We sat around and we played in a game store with a bunch of like burly looking guys.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in there, and one guy's like talking about his beauty and his reputation and things like that. And his immodest dress and like how he's the belle of the ball. And I think stuff like that is just fun. In terms of its theme, it's a very divisive theme. Like you're going to have a lot of people who, because it's Pride and Prejudice, are going to feel weird about playing. But I also think it's one of those games, to the contrary, like a guy like me, if you weren't into gaming, this could be a good way of drawing your wife into playing games. I know for you just really enjoy all of the references. And
much.
And it's a lot of fun for a lot of people. I think it can be a great couples game. Like if you're sitting around with 2 or 3 couples and they're sitting around and they want to play a game, it can be a nice, fun party game like that. For a lot of tabletop gamers, being able to mitigate some of that randomness, there are a few cards which give you the ability to do that. But because you're only basically doing one thing on your turn, and because that one thing you're doing is a flip of the card, it is in general a pretty luck of the draw game. And I definitely admit that this may not be the game for them.
I think that for an Austen lover, it is an awesome game. Like super fun.
Okay.
So many great references. It's a fun way to kind of recall what's going on in the story. At one point, I think Glenn said it's like it would be great for a group of women sitting around, chatting, drinking a glass of wine, playing the game, like money. Like, I mean, I posted a picture of us playing on Instagram, and like girls, my friends left and right were like, "Oh my goodness, what is this? I'm so excited!" Like, if you go below that, like I think it can function, like you said, as a really great bridge game, and especially if you're playing with people who can kind of have fun with it, like guys who don't mind feeling a little silly being a female character. Then it's also a super fun light game, so you can be chatting and you're not going to lose what you're doing, or it goes pretty quickly, so you're always kind of doing your turn. So it's a fun party kind of game that you can play with, particularly with women who like the novel is going to be the best, but if not, like it's totally a fine, fun game to play with people who you just want to have something fun to do with.
Thanks so much for watching.
See you next time. Who would you be in the book if you could be anyone?
The Doctor. I would go in my TARDIS into the book. I would be the chauffeur who ends up marrying into the aristocracy after.
That's Downton Abbey.
I would be Dumbledore because has a cool beard and magic powers. He's got a wand.
Honey, just stop talking.